There is a thin divide between what is perceived as spiritual and paranormal, for they are forever entwined throughout time. Traveling within the history of the world, we can find examples of spirituality that involves everything from magic, spirits, gods and goddesses, and seers or people said to be able to talk to the dead. We all have our belief systems and we all have our own truths. So come sit with Holly Jenkins and myself as we talk about all that and more. Welcome to Spiritually Paranormal.
Ooh, hey everyone.
Hey everybody, how are you? Hey, by the way, Tada showed up yesterday. She was on my stream.
Hey, how come I don't have, okay, wait. For some reason it was clicked on brand instead of comments. I couldn't see who was in here.
Okay, well.
Oh, there's Gremlin. Yeah. At least she showed up.
And Margaret here, and Kay,
Chloe.
Hi guys.
Where's Tada? She showed up yesterday, but not today. What's up with her?
Well, I'll tell you what, that is something I want to start with right off the bat. Our lives, and yesterday it happened, they have mimicked my page on Facebook and used all my pictures and everything that were on my professional page, my business page, and set up a new one. But what it is everybody has to look out for it because they have a different address, and they actually use spiritual medium dot something like it's over in the UK.
Right.
And I thought I had banned them during the stream, but apparently I missed one of them. So Ruth had gotten hold of me last night. So just for everybody, and I'm going to say it here too, as I did it yesterday, please make sure I would never, ever, 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 ever ask you for money on a stream. And I would never approach you to book that way. If you send me a message that's different, and then I will direct you right to my website. And that's how I do my business. You go right through to my website. So please, Lord, know that I would never do that. And it's not even the way I speak that it was written.
I've had people do the same thing to me on Instagram and TikTok. Thankfully, the people that have seen it and reported it to me weren't dumb enough to fall for it, because they know I don't ask for things, and I don't ever approach other people of, hey, Spirit has got a message for you.
Yeah, it's like, no, it's not it. And also I want to address, because somebody brought that up again yesterday, and I know you were actually right under the person that wrote it, and I didn't read what she said, but she was the gist, because as soon as I saw what was writing and I had pulled her up for a card, I disengaged from what she wrote. I went back later, and she was asking about, will she get married, or will this whatever relationship.
Right.
And that's not what Spirit wants to do. We all still have free will and choice.
Right.
And if you want something, like you just told me a minute ago, manifest it, right?
Manifest the heck out of it.
Yep. And I'll tell y'all just what I was doing and telling Holly, and I'm very excited about it. The rescue where I got Phoenix from, the rehab rescue place for birds, they have a pair of lovebirds, and I'm going to look to get them and possibly bring them home by June. So I'm going to manifest having the cash to do that. And Mango won't be by himself. Well, he's not by himself, but the Keats don't interact with him. He goes over there. I feel bad, but he's all up in my face. So, So what have you been up to?
You really want to know? Do you really want to know?
Yeah, I always.
So I was listing all my books in a document the other day to see how, because
what the heck was that? I didn't touch nothing.
So
that was weird.
On my author page it has all my books, but sometimes a book I'll publish it won't show up there, so I have to tell it to add it, and I have to go look for it and tell it this is my book. So anyway, I was doing that, and I've written. The first book I published was in early part of May last year. So in less than 12 months, I've published 121 books.
I can't even get one done.
Well, now keep in mind about 50 of those are notebooks and journals, which they're easy. There's not a lot of content in those. But and so then I got that done, and we're still in retrograde until next Thursday. So I'm trying not to do too much writing and stuff during retrograde. So what I did is I made new artwork for all the animal totem journals, and there's one, two. So I've submitted those, and Amazon probably hates me right now. They haven't even okayed them yet. They've been in review for 2 days.
Well, I've been trying to do one for actually 2 books. The one for the new deck, and then one for the old deck. Well, the one for the old deck's all written, but and I said this to somebody the other day. I said it's really easy to do, but I'm not used to what I have to do. So I go to do it and it's not right. I go to do it and it's not right. So I kind of like flip that switch off, and I haven't gone back in.
Well, we're in retrograde, and if it don't feel right, just stop. You're doing the right thing. Step away from it, come back to it.
Just before we entered retrograde, and I said, I can't keep it clear in my head for some reason.
Right.
So yeah, I just didn't do it. But yeah.
Well, so I did a thing again.
Jeez, here we go.
I accidentally wrote a book. So this happens quite often. You can ask my husband. I will go to bed. I will go to sleep. I will close my eyes, and a lot of times I will kind of do a little meditation as I'm going to sleep, and that kind of thing. And I'll wake him up with, "Hey, here's a new book idea." So one of us has to remember it right by the morning, so I don't forget. Sometimes I'll wake him up and say, "What did I say last night? What was that idea?" And he'll be like, "Oh, Lord." So I had another one. I was listening to some Tibetan meditation healing frequencies.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Who accidentally writes a book? I do. So I was seeing the vibrations of everything we say, everything we think, everything we do. And I said, I just saw these little kids, checking vibes. And so I wrote a book, The Vibe Guide. And it's a whole bunch of little scenarios of kids, and all kinds of different things going on, helping the elderly, taking not sharing, taking toys away, being greedy, all kinds of things. And I say, is this a good vibe or a bad vibe? And they have to answer it and then turn the page to find out if they were right. So that's what that whole thing is about. And at the beginning, I started off with, imagine we are all like music. Just as every musical instrument has a different sound, we all have a different vibration. And you may not be able to hear that music or see that music, but we all have that different thing. And everything we do also creates a different vibration. So then I go on and have the scenarios for them. I thought it was cute. So then I came to work, of course, and I wasn't supposed to be writing, but I kind of went, oops, there you go.
I write, but I don't write the way you do. And I love the stuff that you're putting.
Holly needs $100 every time I write a new book, not just Bear. Holly does. My mortgage just went up $300 freaking a month.
Right. That's why I'm stripped.
My auto insurance has gone up $200 this year. Now my mortgage has gone up $300. Where am I finding an extra $500?
I'll tell you what, I don't know. Manifest it.
And gas keeps going up.
Right? I bought, and like I said, I'm very thankful because the store Walmart actually delivers now to my house, and it's only 4 miles away from my house, but I don't drive anymore and I can't drive. So this was good for me to have this, and they delivered, and I got $170 worth of groceries with zero meat. I bought things that were kind of in the freezer that I can cook.
No, Holly needs 100 and Bear needs 100. We both need 100.
Yeah, 100% we do. It's just like there's no extra to play with. I mean, I'm okay, but I'm right at that mark. And
You and me both. I mean, here's my bills, here's my pay. There's no wiggle room at all. So when things fluctuate, I'm screwed.
Yeah.
And I am not only have myself, but my husband, because he's retired, he doesn't work. I have Michaela and I have Leo and Gabriel all living with me in a house that needs to be fixed.
Plus the animals that need to be
plus the animals,
right?
Yeah, plus the animals. Well, she has 2 chinchillas, a ferret, and the dog, and a bearded dragon, and the chickens.
And they all need food. That's what people don't get,
Food and other things, medicines and all sorts.
Yeah, and it's like, I look at it, and my daughter says, "Well, you're getting food." I go, it cost me $100 to get the food for the bird. Well, it's a little less now because Pip's gone, but I need $101 is what happens every month, and it pays for the birds and the cat and the boys outside because I get them cheap stuff. I get them just cheap Walmart food. Food, right? But I'm trying to get them so that I can get them all in spring, kind of grab them and take them to, you're going to have to, I think I got a box coming. So I might have to take off real quick, but I'll be back. But I want to take them in to get them neutered so that they're not leaving litters everywhere again. So, it's a lot. I mean, everybody's struggling. Everybody I talk to is struggling.
It's insane because all the prices of everything, the utilities, gas, the mortgage, the insurance, all of that's going up, but my pay is not going up.
How does that work? Our utilities go up, but our usage goes down.
Yeah.
Okay, right. I'll be right back because I got to get him. I got to let my stuff.
All right. So there, she's gone. So one of my other newest books I wrote during retrograde, where I wasn't supposed to be writing books, is a journal. I Am Manifesting Journal, which is all about, and I've been doing this every single day for the past 2 or 3 weeks, and I'm going to continue doing it. I do it 3 times a day, and I say each affirmation 11 times. I'd say it on my way into work, I say it on my way home, and I say it in the middle of the day. And I have different ones for different things, but it starts off with I am. I am a magnet for wealth, success, and prosperity. I am healing my mind, body, and soul with every breath. You got to use, when you're trying to manifest, you need to speak it into existence as though it already exists, as though it's already happening. I'm getting healthier and more fit with every breath. I am releasing all fear. I'm releasing all doubt. I am stepping away from obstacles. Peace and Quiet Bear is gone. She's back. I know. How dare they talk about you like that, Bear?
Who promoted that? I bet.
Not me.
Yeah, no, not you ever. But yeah, manifesting, and it does work. I did it last week, and it wound up, I don't have fear to it. That's the big thing. People add fear.
Oh, thank you, Kay.
People add fears to things, right? Like, oh my God, if I don't have that, what's going to happen? Don't ever ask what's going to happen. So when I put it
don't ask it. Don't say what's the worst that can happen. I have a little sign right here on my desk. What's the best that could happen? What's the best that could happen? Always say that. Say it that way. So you're looking for the best. You're not looking for the worst. Because if you ask for it, you're going to get it.
Yeah.
Because the universe doesn't tell you no. The universe tells you yes. So I am manifesting my dreams. Yes, you are. I am. If I say I am tired, the universe is going to show me how much more tired I can be. No, thank you.
Taylor tried to fix one of my problems. She says, Mom, when they were up here this past weekend, she goes, I got a gift for you. I said, okay. She goes, no, really. I picked this up. She says, and I really think you could use it.
Oh, yeah. That's a long list. You might need another sign. Oh, it's a whole book. That's perfect. That's perfect.
Oh, yeah. I just laughed. No, I know, Chloe. I know.
Yeah, I have so many journals and stuff laying around everywhere. Oh, and look what did come in the meantime. Whispers from the Universe.
Oh, that's cool.
This has all the different, let me find a page, turn it to a page. We'll turn it to a page that has some images so you can see. This gives you all the different feather meanings when you find feathers, the different colors of feathers, and not just the different colors, also the different kinds of feathers as well. They all have different meanings. And then I have toward the back, I have the animals are in there, and it's 70 something pages. All the different things you could possibly think about, all the different signs from the universe. Animal encounters. There's 3 pages dedicated to dragons. Just dragons.
Oh yeah, I love dragons. Dragons,
The crow gets a whole page to itself. The crows have so much. And then there's, hearing sounds, hearing those voices, hearing certain music over and over again, or seeing certain phrases over and over again. I mean, whatever you can think of, it's probably in this book. If you find something not in it, let me know. I'll add it.
Well, okay, so that kind of brings me to over the past few weeks, and last week we talked a little bit about it. Okay, Phoenix, you're not coming out right now. I have kind of delved into it. We touched on it a little bit last week, was reincarnation, and we talked a little bit about.
I seen your video on TikTok the other day about it.
Yeah, and the children that, when they're born and what, they come into with this other life, and some of them were just really, really intriguing, because one of them, the one that really struck me, well, actually there was 2. The one guy that he had been a screenwriter and wrote with Gone with the Wind, and I told you that he died just before the premiere, and the child that said it was him recognized everything and went to his family home, where his kids' sisters, who were now in their 80s, he knew them and he knew where things were in the house and what have you. And then
like
the one, yeah, then there was one that was about the Titanic, and he actually said things that one of the main designers of the Titanic, who he was. I mean, and he described things that, no way a 5 and 6-year-old's going to know this stuff. And they took him to Chicago when they had the Titanic exhibit going around, and stuff happened for him. But then the other thing that I noticed, and I watched a few of the newer ones with my daughter this weekend and David, and they talked to their parents and their mom about, oh yeah, I picked you.
Yep.
And the mom said, what? Oh yeah, you're not my first mother. And one of them even said, you were my daughter. I was your dad.
Yeah.
And this is coming from 3 to say 7-year-olds.
Yeah.
And when they got questioned, and these were, they were one was a Southern Baptist mom. I mean, that's definitely not in their book of how things work. And then the others they were all different, like, beliefs and what have you. But this was the commonality thread. And this is kind of what I want to pick your brain about, what your thoughts are today. They said, oh, and each one of them said it. One little girl, she was 4, and she walked up to her mom and she told her, I chose you to come here, and this happened to me. And they actually researched, and they found the person she was saying that she wasn't anybody famous, but there was history on her. And she said, I'm forgetting God's face. And I was like, what did she just say? And I rewound it a little bit. She says, I'm forgetting God's face. I can't remember what God looks like. And I was like, wow, that's kind of fascinating. So then one of the other children said, and this was crazy too, because she had like a, what do they call those fall spring relationships? They have babies that are 17 years old, and another baby, real like a oops kind of a thing that they didn't know was going to happen. And this little boy looked at his mom, and she said, oh, you're so special because I had, was telling him, and he was like 4 or 5, and he said, Mom, I chose you. And she said, what? She goes, yeah, I was up in heaven and I was looking at you guys and I was trying to find the parents that I wanted and I chose you. And she just kind of sat there like, what? You know? And he said, yeah. And when it was time for you to have me, and he points up to the top and he goes, I came down and he did this. He said, and I entered your head and I came down and went into the child in your stomach. And this kind of told me, and this is like my thoughts of it, was like the babies don't have souls until they're ready to be born. And he described it, and she asked him about it. He drew it like out. He says it's like windows. We look out all. There's a bunch of us up there. It's not like it is here. And I'm like, okay. And each one of the kids said the word heaven in their explanation of this is where I was. I was in heaven, and you used to be in heaven, but you came back before I did. And then I decided to choose you as my parent this go around. And I'm thinking, okay, I get the reincarnation thing, and it is fascinating to really stop and kind of mind blowing for a lot of people. But to say I was in heaven looking down through windows and like cloud windows with bright lights, and then I'm forgetting what God's face is like. Well, I don't even know what to say to that. I mean, I believe obviously there's another dimension, whether you call it dimension or what, but the idea that the children said heaven, and none of them were from religious families, you know, so they weren't going or seeing anything about heaven. So where are your thoughts, Landon?
Well, I believe that there's this place, and everything's spiritual, everything is energy. So there's this, I want to say it's an energetic place for us all to go. Not necessarily like, a physical thing is a human concept.
Right.
So it's a place we go to, a energy place that we go. And you could say it's a different dimension, or however you want, however you can visualize it, where it's like that's the source of where all energy is born, where everything comes from, everything in the entire expanse of the universe, everything comes from this one source. And I believe our soul families live there in like packs, like wolf packs. We are a wolf pack ourselves, all of us that are here together, because the universe, we all found each other one way or another, didn't we? But we're all over the world.
Well, that's interesting too, because they actually had another child that was on, and he was from another country. Like he was from like the I can't remember. It was part of Africa, but it was, what part was it? It was from a real kind of backwards, as far as modern times. They're living still today like they used to, how they grew up, tribes and clans, right? They don't have they don't use cell phones. They don't have modern tools. Right. And he told his parents exactly what he used to do. And at a certain age, he wanted a knife. And it's like he was a 6-year-old. And they were like, we're not giving him a knife. Why do you want a knife? And he was drawing things like arrows and what have you, and spears. And he said, because I need to show you what I used to do. So they finally thought, well, we'll give this to him and watch him. He won't be allowed to take it to school or anything like that. And I'll be darned if he didn't. What he carved was a spearhead, and then he carved arrows, and they just were amazed because he's only like 6. Right, so then when they took what he carved and compared it to where he said he was from, it was exactly like that. And it's like, it's okay, but he lives with duality where some of them don't. Like he lives knowing his past, but he's okay with that, and he's like 18.
Well, because no one has smashed it. No one has told him that's ridiculously silly and all that. Because when parents come in or people come in and make fun of you or dismiss what you're saying, then you're going to push that to the side and you're going to ignore it. And you may even start to believe that you're just hallucinating or something. but they encouraged that. They nourished those thoughts in him. But I believe that we're all given this opportunity to see when we say as a spirit, okay, I'm ready to do it again. I'm ready to give it another earth try. Okay. I believe that we choose an experience we want to have, a lesson we want to learn. We choose the kind of life we want before we go into it. Now, this is the thing, because a lot of people will say, oh, I didn't choose this. Oh, you did choose it. But there's something in it, and it could be the tiniest little thing. Because remember, as energy, as spirit, you don't have fear, doubt, worry, stress. You don't have any of the earthly constraints on you. So you're not feeling that in the moment. It's like watching a movie. So that's one thing that's kept me going all these years. When I've been physically beat up and abused and been in all these toxic relationships, I say to myself, I chose this life.
Yep.
And if I would not have chosen it for what I have had so far, so there must be something truly amazing at some point in my life for me to have said, all of this shit is worth coming back for, because this is where I'm going to end up. This is where I'm going to get to. This is the experience I'm going to have. So because I've had such a hard life, I think that's what's kept me going, because I'm like, I would not have chosen this particular life. No, not without something amazing after.
Well, I also the other question that came with it, like apparently this young boy died in his other body or his other life, I'll say, and it was a normal death, right? It wasn't anything traumatic and anything like that. And he didn't lose it, right? He still remembers it. And he was 18 or 19 when they taped it again and talked about it. But some of the other ones were tragically killed. Like the young man, the little boy that was on the Titanic. And the girl who I said she told him, and she actually led a very traumatic life. She was in Pioneer and going out west, and her family was murdered by Native Americans, and they took her as a slave, and then they traded her to another group of Indians who didn't treat her brutally like the other ones did, and she was part of their family, but they tattooed their sign on her chin. And I knew exactly who it was when they did it, because I read the story of this woman, and she actually got rescued by soldiers at a fort. And she didn't want to leave because this was really her family. And they shipped her back to New York. So that's what she had to deal with, was all the trauma from having these tattoos on her chin, right? But they remembered it as trauma, everything, all the trauma that happened, and including the guy that was on the Titanic. And they actually walked through it all. And once they got to the end, like when the little boy went to the Titanic exhibit and he stood up where they did like a deck in the exhibit, and you could like look over at what was water, but not real water, but he let that go. He still has Titanic stuff that he's collected, and he's like older now as well, but he let it go so he could live his life in this time.
Right,
same way
his new life.
Yeah, same way as the little girl. Once she found out and they put all the pieces together and they found family lineage for her. And that other little boy who had written, and he said he died crushed because he died on a tractor. He fell off a tractor and was crushed. But going back to his family home, he was able to become the person he lived as now in the human. So I'm wondering if trauma makes a difference.
Well, it does. And the older we get and the more trauma we go through, the further away we get from our true self.
Right.
And it's harder for us to remember what we're like on the other side. But imagine all the many lives you've lived, all the many occupations you've had, all the things you have actually done, and being able to tap back into that knowledge and that information. How amazing is that? And also, I want to throw this out there. So consider that you've had a life that you don't think anything truly special has happened. But for people like me and you, there's loads of us who put our stuff out there, and whether we realize it or not, we impact other people's lives. From the spirit self, looking down on this life, we're able to see how many lives we may have impacted in a positive way. And maybe that could be the only reason we're here. Maybe we chose because we see the blessings, the things that we have contributed to in some sort of way. Like, when I first started doing the videos, my hope was to help other women either be able to get out of the situations I've been in or not even get into them at all.
Yeah.
By telling my story, speaking it out loud and saying, hey, this is what happened.
Right.
This is what you need to watch out for.
Right.
You're not crazy. They're manipulative. They're toxic. Michaela, she had met a new guy, and they've been seeing each other for a few weeks, and that came to a very abrupt end very quickly because he was gaslighting her. Yesterday he called her, cussing her out for no reason. She's on her way to go pick up the boys, and just lighting into her because she's not responding as quickly to his text messages, and not, oh, I can't wait to see you, and being needy. So, and then suddenly she's like, sorry you feel that way. She has grown so much. And then he's like crying over the phone and, trying to be all mushy gushy and, oh no, don't do that to me, baby. Oh no, I love you. I'm trying. And now suddenly trying to turn the tables and make her into a bad person.
Yeah.
And he's the victim.
Yeah.
Where it all came out of nowhere. There was no reason for any of it, but you just have to be so careful. So I don't know how many women, hopefully, maybe at some point, saw a piece of one of my videos and recognized some behavior before it got too late.
Yeah, it's that I don't think, even when we do what we do, I don't think we sometimes realize it. And it's not ego involved. I don't care about who comes or goes, but it's about how we touch people. And I've gotten a lot of messages from clients that I don't even remember because I've been doing it so long. Same. And they're like, oh, when you said this, or oh my gosh, you really helped me, and this, and I'm like, I'm glad for that.
Yeah. I don't remember it, but I'm glad you got something out of it, right? Yeah.
Okay, Chloe has a good question. How come cats have 9 lives and we don't?
Well, they don't really have 9 lives now, do they? And we have more than 9 lives. We have an unlimited amount of lifetimes. Well, but cats always land on their feet, so that's why they say that cats have 9 lives, because in situations where they should have landed in some other direction and probably been killed or hurt, they land on their feet.
Animals do come back.
Yeah, they do.
Do have souls. I've seen it happen. I've had it happen. I've had them visit me.
What's the chances that next time you're coming back as a bird?
I'll tell you what, though, and when we were talking about heaven, like, what is heaven, right? What is that? And again, those kids really made me stop, think about it. But what I've been shown, no matter what it is, it's vibrant. It's full of energy. When I got taken, my mom took me
good healing energy.
Yeah, and took me in to show me, and my birth mom's husband he loved all my animals, and he called Pip, and Pip came down and landed in his hands, and he put him like this, and she was biting on his beard and mustache. And of course, they don't have a beard mustache up there. That's just how he presents his energy, right? I mean, that's how we knew him. And he just let her go back up, and she was flying and she was happy. And I know that's true. So cats, birds, dogs, horses, no matter what it is, they have the ability to return. And as I believe sometimes that we would have the ability to return as something that we weren't if we chose that.
That's right. I still go back to the time that I was a fairy, and after being a fairy, I wasn't ready to go back to that space. So I jumped into a crystal, and I was in that crystal for, more than you could possibly fathom.
Well, time is irrelevant. Time is a human-made thing, and Zara, oh heaven, has lots of fun and time with all my family. Everyone is happy and there's lots of love and happiness. Oh, and Caravan, Zara, that's Haven. Oh yeah, bless her. Yeah, that's cool. You know, kids are one of the things I tell, and I actually, somebody was trying to get hold of me, and then, I don't know, she just hasn't followed through. She's the one that contacted me, but she has children, and I talked about that a little bit before. But with children, when I get approached about children, and I often tell people, don't encourage it, but don't discourage it. Let it form naturally. So if your child is saying, I see somebody in there, well, who do you think it is? You know, but I never make children feel crappy about it. They always feel good about it. And actually,
I have the Palo Santo out, and the boys know where it is. They always come to me when they start feeling icky energy. Grandma, can I smudge my room? Yep, you sure
I
can.
should have given it to Dave because this past weekend, like, I'm so used to stuff happening in the house. I have gotten freaked out over the past year a couple times, like really super freaked out because it was really unusual stuff.
I remember.
But, yeah, I know.
Do you really want to talk about them and bring them back?
No, I'm just saying I had those times already this past year. No, thank you. But there are always bumps and bangs and things open and closing. Well, whenever Dave comes up with Tay, I think they do it as a joke because I would feel if something was in the house negative, and I really do think it's the Cesario boys, Robin's two boys. They're like 31.
They like to mess with people.
They're fucking with them. Excuse the French. Yeah. And they were in bed. It was 1:30 in the morning, and they had their door shut. And the door in that bedroom, it sticks, so you have to turn the handle and put your shoulder into it, so it kind of creaks. Because you know how wood, when you have a wooden door or a frame on a window, they expand with more. This is an old house, right?
Yeah.
Well, the door handle jiggled and the door pushed open. Both of them sat up and said, "Mom, are you okay?" And I was sleeping. I have a fan on. I sleep with white noise on, so I don't hear. My door's open, but I don't hear anybody. They literally got up to make sure I was okay, and it freaked Dave out, right? So they went back and they had a hard time falling back to sleep. So they're telling me about it the next night because they were gone the next day with Grandma and stuff, and I just didn't feel good enough to go. So he came back to the house, and we were all in the front room, the three of us, and we were watching a movie. And he says, "Can you guys pause it? I have to go to the bathroom." And we said, "Sure, no problem." So he goes in, and Taylor and I are talking in the front room. All of a sudden, I hear, "Mom!" I was like, "Dave?" He said, "Mom, hurry up." I go, "What's the matter?" Well, we had a mouse that we actually had caught that had been running across the fireplace wall all night, and we finally got it, right? And the cat, you know, Moot's 20 years old. She was kind of hunting it, but she looked at it. She just let it go. So I thought maybe he saw a mouse in the bathroom, and I have a very big bathroom that's attached to a laundry room, and actually the laundry room is smaller than the bathroom. So I go, "What?" And I'm like, "Aren't you going to the bathroom?" He's like, "No, I'm done. I'm like, "Okay." So I walk into the bathroom. He goes, "Look." And he points, and it was nighttime. And he points to the laundry room window, which you can see from the bathroom. I go, "Okay, what am I looking at?" He goes, "Oh, it took off." I go, "What do you mean what took off?" It was a man standing there, a guy. He was standing right there. Right there. And I started laughing, and I said, "Yeah, I probably was." He goes, "No, like, why are they doing this to me?" I said, "Well," and I walked him back into the front room, and I said, "Part of it is because his best friend, who's Taylor's best friend's other half, the two boys are very open.
Yeah.
But they're learning how to control it, and they'll call me before they do things to say, what do we need to do, or what do we do if this happens or that happens?" They've been going over to Kieran's basement at his house, and they put a recorder on because there's somebody at that house. And I already told Kieran, "It's your grandfather. I can tell you that." And he looked at me, he said, "What?" And I described him. I said, "It's your grandfather. He's just there to make." So they've been having conversation. They've actually caught it on tape, right? So I said, "You guys keep doing this, they're going to continue to screw with you because they know that you have this ability and it's fun. But they also like getting you when you can't. He says, I don't like the door opening, Mom. I go, okay, well, what do you want? Tell him stop. I mean, you know,
Right.
what am I to do, right? Like, I don't care if they do that stuff most of the time, because, and if they get too obnoxious like they have this year, I just tell them to cut it out. Stop. You know,
Yep.
He thinks he got spooked. He got really spooked. It was funny. It was funny to watch. But Taylor just said, "Oh my God, Mom! Oh my God! It like opened the door." I go, "Yeah, okay." So now when I tell you stuff, if I'm a little freaked out and you say, "Oh, Mom, that stuff happens all the time for you in the house," I said, "So now, daughter, this stuff happens all the time in this house. Deal with it."
That's right. I had a situation earlier this week. I think it was actually on Monday with the angels. So every single morning, especially once I hit, there's a street that I come down and then onto the street where I work.
Right.
And usually, as I hit the bridge that's on that one street before turning onto this street, is when I get triggered. If I haven't already said it, say, "Hey, good morning, angels. Where are my angels at?" That kind of thing. And then I will glance around to see if I see any angel numbers. And usually, like almost instantly, there, or I won't even finish getting that out of my mouth, and here comes the car 111 222 whatever.
What's with the 1-1? What's with the ones? Because I've been getting 1111.
That is, the ones are all about new beginnings and paying attention to where your thoughts are in that moment. So if you're in a negative mindset, then what's going to happen is that ones are going to show up to help you change that, to make you acknowledge that, oh crap, I was thinking in a negative way, I need to change it.
My birthday's 1/11.
Right. Or if you're stressing, if you're worried about something, that ones may show up to say, swap it out. Stop worrying. Stop stressing. Think about the positive. Look for the solutions. And like I said, new beginnings for 111. So something new could be on the horizon.
I don't know, but like I said, that's my birthday, 1/11. And all this past week, all I've been seeing are 111, 11, 11. And it like, I don't realize it because time really has no purpose.
I feel like that's telling you to not worry. Things are going to work out. Things are working out. Things are in the process of working out.
But I'm really not. I mean, I've been tired a lot, and I still think a lot of that is just the energy that's out there. And I didn't watch any TV from last Wednesday to Tuesday, except while I was watching Taylor, but no news, none of that kind of stuff. And then I watched Oak Island yesterday for a bit, but I wasn't watching time. So I didn't know when stuff was coming around, right? And it was just, I don't know. It's different. What is Margaret saying here?
Said that she keeps getting woken up in the morning by someone saying, "Norma, you have to get up," and no one is there. They are calling her by her first name. Well, that's one of your relatives on the other side is telling you for some reason you need to get up. So get up. And you can ask them why. When you hear the voice, you can ask them why, or ask them to send you a sign of why. So getting back to the story I was about to tell you on the angel numbers, and I didn't see any that morning. So I was like, well, that's odd. I'll probably see them as soon as I get to work. That's my mindset of they're there. I know they're there, and I haven't seen them yet.
Right.
So I get to work, and I'm real busy, and an agent is in the office, and I need to run out to accounting real quick, real early. And usually I don't go to accounting that early, but so I did. I got in my car, and I was going to call Gina first, Rick's assistant, to see if she had anything I needed to pick up to take over there before I even went over there. So I could just do one loop and be done.
Right.
And for some reason, when I went to call her, my car switched over to the Bluetooth in that moment. And what was on the radio was a meditation that was 111 and 444.
Fours are another thing I've been getting.
And I was like, oh well, there you go. So I had to turn that off and talk to her. I called her, talked to her, and then I got to when I hung up with her, I saw the 1111 and the 444 again for just a moment, and then it went to another song or meditation sound, and it was 333.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And I thought, okay, I'm not supposed to listen to the radio. I need to listen to this. And so it just kept switching out angel numbers. It went to 555 next, and then back to the 1111 444. And I just listened to that one. I went to accounting and came back to work. I was like, my angels want to be with me now. I'm going to let them be with me.
It's the projects I've been working on, and I've posted some of them. Like I redid that piano bench, and I made something for Tay, and I made something for David for his birthday. And I don't normally paint with acrylics, but I was like given these ideas in my head and had to make them real.
Have you done a bust, or have you thought about doing a bust of something of possibly one of these angels?
Yes, I'm already working on it.
Is it rather large? Is it larger than what you normally do?
Mm-hmm.
They're showing me that, and you need to keep working on that.
Oh, I am. But
you need to get that done.
I finished these projects, the painting projects, and the reason, and I kept wired, and they were like pushing, like, hurry up.
They want you to have that done before May 4th.
Well, the other thing is they want my kids, my daughter, but my extended daughters and sons that call me mom, that come here, David and Tay's friends, and kids that she grew up with, and also the Wolf's children, the girls, not the boys, but the girls. And it's like they need to have a part of me. And I stopped and I thought about it, and they didn't. Taylor and Dave, they didn't have anything I had painted, but it was supposed to be for them, and it was push, 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 push. Now I'm done with all those, and that's when I went into last week when I started this other thing. And I also have another painting that I have to do, but it has to be in oils, and I have to get more oils.
Yeah.
So yeah, divine energy.
You got to get it finished. You got to stay busy on that, because by 4/4, and that's coming up. It's not that far away.
I know.
What, 2.5 weeks? 2.5 weeks?
You don't have to tell me.
About 2.5 weeks.
I know. I'm working on it. Hi, Joyce.
Joyce, in my book, was it Joyce that got this one? The ringing in the ears.
Yeah. And by the way, a couple people, I think, who is here? Joyce.
Did you even see my post yesterday I tagged you in?
Who, me?
Yeah, you.
Yeah, it's on my wall. Hi, Monica. How are you? Yeah, it was on my wall. You tagged me in it. Yeah, I looked at it. Jillian. Hi, Jillian. I don't read a lot, and I did see it because I had to approve it to be up there. It was the new book, right?
Yeah, you tell her, Rellyn. It's from Spirit. Spirit says, get your ass to work, lady, and get it done.
Oh, here you go. Joyce is having ringing in her ears more than normal. First right, then left. Are they my angels with downloads or what?
Could be. Probably is.
Probably,
and it's not necessarily the angels bringing you downloads. It's the universe in general bringing you downloads. The angels don't have to bring you those downloads. You can just get that from the universe.
Well, here's something. When I read for anybody, whether it's a private reader, I'm doing the streams, and this just started this year as well. I sweat. Like, I don't sweat. I'm not a person that sweats. I don't get hot because I always run hot. I always have run hot. Like, I can go out in the middle of winter in shorts and a t-shirt and I'm fine. It doesn't bother me. But when I read, this has just started. Like, when I really, really go into a deep connection, I get up, my back of my shirt is soaked. My jeans are, I literally have to take a shower.
Yeah.
So things have changed. So Joyce, my guess is because of what you're more opening up to things, that the universe
becoming more aware of things. Yeah. The more you know, the more you acknowledge and don't just dismiss it and let it go by, the more you are open and the more you're going to receive.
Yeah. See,
I do
we're
the same
agreeing.
thing, Rellyn. Whenever I hear that ringing in my ears, I stop and I listen. And I'm like, okay, what's up? What's up? What do you want me
Well,
to know?
I have actually gotten them to stop interrupting my sleep. Now I'm having normal weirdo dreams, and I know
Oh,
they're weirdo dreams. I
when
need
retrograde started, I was having some really weird, crazy, like, what the hell is this? Dreams.
Yeah,
Stop.
they were bizarre. But they're not, those to me are not like visions or anything like that. So,
No, no.
but there's
Sometimes your dreams are there to take out the trash, to just empty your mind of the nonsense that's in there.
well, there's always nonsense when I'm trying to fall asleep because it's like, okay, I'm ready to sleep, shut everything off, I'm tired.
Yeah. Oh,
Shut my eyes
I can take an afternoon nap like ain't nobody's business. But let me try to go to sleep at night. No.
Yeah, and then they keep running these thoughts. Oh, don't forget, you got to do this. Oh, don't forget, you should probably do this way. Oh, yeah, and then it takes you down this rabbit hole where all this other stuff, and it's like, oh yeah, you should call Holly, or oh yeah, don't forget, you need to do this tomorrow because if you don't do it tomorrow, you're gonna have to wait. And it's like, okay, why didn't I think of this while I was awake? It's like idle mind brain. Not fun.
Monica, that could be just about anything, really. What does it mean when I hit bed and fell asleep after an hour or two? My eyes pops up and I see some strings coming toward me. It depends on what kind of strings, how did you feel? For me, there were times whenever something really bad was about to happen with a particular person, whenever a particular person that wasn't in my life was going to try and come disrupt my life, let me say it that way. Um, I always would be asleep and open my eyes and see this ginormous spider coming after me. I knew who that was about every single time. And I can tell you that within 24 to 48 hours, that person was trying to come back into my life to disrupt some things.
Well, and Monica, I actually talked to Holly about this. There was what was it, like a 2-3 week period? I was getting woke up, sitting up in my room, and it was so full of spirits, and they were all showing me separate stories on kind of like a video or a tape, and everyone
I get that a lot.
And every one of them, there could be 6 in the room at a time, and they were all wanting me to look at their stories. So a lot of times, if you're connected, I think, and they know you're connected, and there's something important that they want to get through for you, they'll do that. And so whatever it is that
no, Monica, not witchcraft.
Yeah, no. Somebody, that's another thing. That's a whole nother topic.
That's a whole nother podcast right there.
Yeah, we'll talk about that next week. But no, imprints on your wall or your cupboard. Yeah, sure. Spirit can do that. Spirit can manifest a lot of things. But if you don't feel like, you'll know if it's something that good. And like Holly said, like her grandson's, just sage. If you feel something's not right or something's off, cleanse the house. Open the window and chase that stuff out. But people always go to that. And I actually have somebody right now that I was talking to that said somebody they grew up with in their family made them believe in evil spirits and that these evil spirits were coming to get them, right? It's back in the day, like of our parents, I know like Holly's parents and my parents, I am a child of the 60s. So, my mom and dad would never do anything like that, but culturally things were very different. And that's how they controlled the kids' behavior.
Yeah. Like Bloody Bones, the story of Bloody Bones. I was told that over and over and over again.
Bloody Mary in the mirror, right?
Oh, God, no, don't say that again. Don't say it 2 more times. Don't say it.
Yeah, it's like, I remember as a kid, they tell us all that stuff was true. And like the picking up with 2 fingers, getting everybody light as a feather or whatever that was. Of course we're going to do it because our parents told us it was not right to do.
Right. So here we go with Margaret and Cindy both. When they often have dreams where they're trying to fly or trying to move and they feel like they're being pulled back and they can't. Well, that manifests in real life of you feeling like something's holding you back. Something is keeping you from getting from where you are to where you want to be in some aspect of your life. We're all connected with spirits, Monica.
Everybody is connected.
You are a spirit.
Yeah, and actually you are connected to them. But spirits are, spirits can be divine energy. They're people that we've walked with in this lifetime that have passed to the other side. You may not say you're connected, but we're all connected. Everybody's connected. Doesn't matter who you are, where you are, we're all connected. It's if you open enough to allow it. And with you, because of the kind of, what I keep hearing is the kind of work you do, you're open to certain energies, and they know that. And they're not going to harm you. And like I said, like Holly said, if you feel ooky about it, smudge the house. Just smudge the house or whatever.
Cindy says, I even dream that I'm driving even though I can't drive. Well, that again is whenever you dream of any kind of transportation, boat, plane, car, bike, walking, trying to get from one place to the next, that's about being here and trying to get to there.
Yeah, which is both.
So you got to think about, how did that dream make you feel? Because that's the important part.
This is interesting. I dream about holding both palms to a marble surface that's cold, but it's shaking. I shout, count the steps, and then I'm wide awake. That's interesting.
I feel like that could be from a past life, and instantly earthquake was in my mind. Yeah, Italy,
like
Rome,
for whatever reason.
Italy, in that kind of area.
Yeah. That's interesting. Yeah, Monica, you're fine. Like, don't worry about that. I laugh because it was like David, when he was here, and he's like, oh my gosh, I've seen it. And he's seen him before. And I really do believe his uncle always is around him as well, because they were really close. And I just think it's their way of manifesting. And they do it more here because I can kind of calm him and say, okay, this is what it is. Nothing's going to hurt you, type of a thing. So yeah, they're usually people we know. Or sometimes, like with Holly and I, if we're going to be reading for somebody in particular, even with me on the streams, because I never know who's going to show up, but their loved ones know.
Yeah, they know. I feel like they direct them to us.
Yep.
Like, here, come over here. You got to, because people will get a sense of what live streams or whatever they need to watch, what videos they need to watch. And, instead of scrolling, something stops you from scrolling for that moment.
Yep, absolutely.
Because there's a message for you.
Absolutely. Well, wow, we've breezed through today. That was cool. A lot of good topics.
Yeah.
A lot of good questions from you all. I appreciate it.
What am I going to write next? That's the big question. We'll find out tonight when I go to sleep.
You know what you're really blessed by? You're blessed by the fact that you're writing all this stuff in 2020s, right? Because if you were writing when I was a kid in the 60s, the librarians would be making index cards, and they would be yelling at you and throwing index cards at you. So look where we are today, and that all that information that you have is being able to put it out in such a good way that people can get it, in compared to going to the library and the librarians going, shh.
Shh, don't do that. And looking through 1 million or more freaking card catalogs. Oh my gosh. I don't know what I'm looking for. I'm just looking till something feels right.
But do you remember when you were growing up, because you're a little younger than I am.
Bathroom guest sign-in book? You're crazy, Raylan.
In the 60s, I used to always go to the library, and I got my books that way. But when I got in the 70s and I was in high school, the books I wanted to read, there was like three. There was Rosemary Altea with The Eagle and the Rose, and the eagle is her, gray eagle is her guide. Echo Bodine came out with hers, and then Dr. Raymond Moody came out with Life After Life. And that was it. 3 books. That was it. You didn't have anything else, because they didn't want to hear it and they didn't want to talk about it. And if you talked about it out loud, they'd want to put you in a padded cell somewhere.
Right, exactly.
with what Holly's gifting people with, the writing through spirit is amazing because people need to be able to look at that stuff and say, oh.
And I'm hoping that kids will be able to relate to these books better than the crazy fairy tales that we grew up with. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. What? Oh, good. Good. Love you, Rob. You take care. Thanks for popping in. All
And
right,
Kate says,
everybody.
another one in Italy. Wonder why it's reoccurring dream. Don't know what count the steps mean. First of all, Spirit is telling me that you need to go to Italy. Italy, Rome, you need to go. There's somewhere calling your name over there. You need to go there. And when you get there and you get to that place you're supposed to be guided to, you'll know exactly what count the steps mean. Oh gosh, here comes the goosebumps. That's Spirit's way of saying we're right on point. When you're there in that place, you will know exactly what count the steps means. It will bring it full circle for you.
It's the same thing like when you walk in and like it's almost like a deja vu moment, and you like looking like, and you actually know what's coming. Like it starts and it clicks, and it's like, oh yeah, I remember that.
It brings it all together.
It's a lot. All right, guys. Well, great show. Thank you, Miss Holly. I appreciate you always, and thank you guys all for showing up today. And we'll see you next week. Night, all.
See ya.